And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for our grand finals here for the VRCL EU Regionals for Echo Arena. We're going to be ready to jump into this grand finals in just a couple of moments, but before we get to that, once again, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Blue. Joining me here for the grand finals, once again, is going to be Poonanners. Are we ready for this grand finals?
I am more than ready. These guys go back and forth all the time about which team is better. They have their strengths, they have their weaknesses. You have Apatera, who's very good at reading where the ball is going to be or the disc is going to be, and is able to stop it from getting on his end of the arena, although all through practice I was not able to see him do that anymore. It's like he all of a sudden lost his ability to do it. The Nile's one of the best goalies in the game and doesn't really play goalie anymore if he can help himself and start pushes up. He's a very tall, very lanky player, and he's got an amazing laser shot, better than you saw VR virtual reality jersey doing.
Yeah.
So it's going to be an incredibly aggressive game. It's going to be very wild. There's not a lot of defense on either team. They try not to defend too much because they're used to playing forward. But the problem is, since both teams have power, once the disc ends up on their end of the arena, you might end up seeing a high-scoring game. Now, I think personally that Ding is a stronger team here. Even though Jax has been running up the scoreboard, and they're currently just, I think Ding is actually a little bit on top right now, just as Jax has gotten Boop back to be on their team after some equipment issues. So, for the most part, I think that Jax they have all that advantage. They're impossible to stop. But Ding has been bringing a lot more pressure lately. The only issue is that Ding, like some of the other teams you talked about, have a composure issue. You have not seen it in practice, but they say only when they play Jax. Sometimes they lose it a little bit, and then when they lose it, they'll lose by 15 points, even greater.
Well, here we go. We can see Ding warming up now. That's going to be Quantum, Boredom, Lone, Gecko, and Teniles. You saw them playing earlier. They managed to make their way easily through the semifinals. And we're going to take a look at their opponents in just a second here, too, as they're also getting ready, getting warmed up, and getting ready for this best-of-3 grand final.
Yeah, those guys are, like I said, they were very strong play. They have a namesake. They even have it on their shirt. The disc bouncing off of the goal is the idea there, because that's what they say we do. What we do is we miss. And it's fine as long as it hits the rim and makes that beautiful ding noise. It's fine. But we also have the Jax here. If you look in the upper left, that's Affenterror, a crazy German, a great guy to play with. Very fun to have. Very fun to have in the bar. You also have Slin in the upper right, and in the bottom left, their star player Boop. From the very beginning in the betas, we all knew his name. We all knew what he could do. We started calling him the European Lemming, and he got really upset. He was like, "That's too much pressure, man."
Well, he's going to have to hold up to that pressure here now in the grand finals. Otherwise, well, he might not be able to make it through, and they'll have to look for other ways to qualify for the VLCL Grand Finals coming up in 2018. That is the ultimate prize on the line here. Besides the 11th grand, our first place team is going to be able to take home. They're also going to get immediate qualification to the 2018 VRCL Grand Finals, which is going to have a whole lot more cash on the line. So you definitely want to get a free ticket to there so you can relax a little bit, not necessarily have to race to the finish to qualify through the online leagues.
You definitely would have to keep on working if you don't come in first place here. However, either one of these teams, the one who doesn't win today, you're more than likely going to see them at the finals. But there has been a lot of discussion, both here in Europe and in North America, that they say that the skill gaps have been closing. People have been getting better at the game faster. It's very easy to actually progress faster now that people know what fundamentals you need to work on. That's things like juking, things like aiming, especially working on your joust. So while the game is about to begin, we're getting ready to watch for this launch. But keep in mind, anybody can pick this game up and get good quick as long as you keep working at it.
All right, so let's dive right into it here and see which is going to be our European regional champion. Is it going to be Ding playing for the orange side, or are their opponents going to take them down? Let's find out right at the beginning off the launch here. Great control exercise coming out from our blue team as they're going to move themselves forward, look to secure a goal, but the goalie comes in, but it goes right back into the hands of Boop. However, he misses the toss, goes into a teammate, but thankfully he's ready to secure it. Slin will score the first goal here in just 15 seconds in. We've already got some points on the board.
Jax, #1 on the board with the bullet. They maintained control out of the joust, and then they kept the pressure on. It was a little bit finicky as they ran up against the goal, but that's actually one of the things that Boop and Slin are known for, is they like to throw it so that the goalie or the defender actually grabs the disc, and then they immediately steal it back, because the goalie will sort of forget that the person you took the disc from is there when the disc has more or less been passed to them. The goalie has a striker coming at him. Generally, he'll take the disc and punch them. But if you threw it to him, it really confuses them. He snatches it out of the way. He steps out of the way, just turns sideways so they can't see how to get to him, and frees it up for all of his players to get an easy shot. Oh, but saved!
Slin looks for a nice goal there, but the goalie from the side of Ding is going to be able to just barely save that at the end of it. Very well played, but they're not out of the clear just yet. We do have Jax moving back in, trying to set themselves up. Lone Gecko is going to intercept him. While he does get knocked out, he's able to get a very nice clear to the right tunnel, and that's going to send our disc soaring down the field. One player from the side from Ding is going to look to try and get down there and secure it, but he'll miss that opportunity. So it's still very much under the control of Jax right now.
Yep, yeah, you actually saw there on the goal, it was Quantum Boredom, who's their lead striker. That's not really his job. It's supposed to be the Niles' job. And the Niles should have actually gotten in position. He's being held out of position, which means it's going to be an open goal.
There we go. A look for the sink, and he's bragging about it too.
Him.
They know that they have that secured, so they just wanted to rub it in as they're already up 4-0 just over a minute into the first round. Beautifully done by Jax.
Like, you've met Slin in the upper right here. He's a very calm and quiet guy. To see that he would just sit there and taunt him like that. That was the nice taunt when you hold it out. He's like, you can come take it if you want. The mean taunt is where you take it and just start banging it on the goal, going ding, ding, ding. Come and get it, guys.
That would be especially gloatful considering the namesake of our orange team here, considering the fact that they're called Ding in the first place. And they call that name after the noise that you make when you bounce the disc off the goal. It makes a very distinct ding sound, which I imagine for those players, if they had to go against it, it would be probably pretty tilting. Look at this, Quantum Boredom going to try to move in. He surprises, not before the disc gets thrown, however, but thankfully makes a panic clear, and it doesn't really go anywhere useful. Quantum's now going to pick it back up, and he's got a pretty open field to throw this, but actually misses the clear, and it's still going to stay in his team's territory because he doesn't actually get it into the tube there.
I feel like the Jacks are just going to walk it in right here. They're just having a little fun with them. Because this is something that they talked about doing, and I mentioned this right before we got started, that if you get Ding thrown off against the Jacks, and it's only the Jacks this happens to, but when they get off their game, they can lose by upwards of 15 points. So maybe they decided they're going to maybe take it a little bit easier on them, or maybe they're tired, maybe they're cold, we don't know, but they're definitely trying their best to actually figure out how they can get their hands on it while trying to get it past Affenterre. It's a very hard midfielder to get the disc past.
Ding can't even get rid of this thing right now. It's the first time so far in this volley that we've actually seen them successfully clear it over towards Jax's side, but it barely goes into Jax's own territory. Just a couple feet after they get it past the midway point here, it's immediately tossed back the other way. And once again, we see our players from the orange team, Ding in this case, being put into the hot seat and having to look for a good opportunity to clear it. There we go. There's a good bounce, though. It goes clearly onto the other side. And they're actually going to have someone to receive here, too. They go for a long-range goal. No, it does end up going back in. Takes a bounce off the backboard, but Quantum is going to get a very long-range goal. And that'll be a three-pointer, too, so it keeps them close now. Only 1 point behind the score.
They're having a discussion at the pulpit here. They're like, that was a slop shot, and you know it. They're like, no, I totally meant to do that. That's some high-skill shots. See you in the joust. So they're actually going to try to launch up here. You actually notice that the joust speed is about the same on both teams, but Jacks are employing a nice tactic. It's very similar to what Lemming would do, but instead of ducking out of the way, they're stepping to the right. They're pulling in with that small amount of space they have to sort of sidestep the enemy. Watch them do it here again. They reach out sideways and try to grab it, but it was taken away before they could. I think there was a headbutt in order to knock it out of his hand.
Yeah, it really goes just back and forth there, but ultimately, players from Ding get a little bit of an advantage to play off of here. Kind of goes over into Jax's territory, but same as the last one here, really doesn't go very far. They don't have any good offenders right now being set up because they're so worried about these goals coming back in. Whoa, Slin, what was that?
Slin, I watch Slin whiff very close to the goal more often than I don't, and it's really funny because he's an incredibly good striker, but watching him get close to the goal and miss,
this is a mess.
They're just duking it out. He's just always tying up 2 players trying to do a rodeo right up against the goal, but he realized that his team wasn't getting the disc fast enough, so he's like, you know what, it's probably in our position. I need to turn around.
Everybody from Ding even tied up there in that exchange, but thankfully for them, they're able to successfully secure their goal and make sure that we don't see another goal come out from the side of Jax just yet. Jax, though, now is going to set themselves up. We can see the launch of their forward player. It's going to be Slin. He'll receive it. Is it an open goal? No, he still has to go up against the goalie, moving in towards it. Can he juke the goalie?
Nope.
No. Niles is able to save it, but as soon as he attempts to throw it back out, we do have Boop ready to take it back and score once again. He's going to get punched out too quickly before he can toss it over to his teammate. So they've got to send Affenterre back very quickly to try and receive this and toss it back over to another teammate, which is what we'll see them do now. But another interception comes back out from Quantum, and now he's got a really good opportunity to score. The problem is, though, he went for a bit of a panic clear. Now he's got to try to pick it back up. Attempts to slide it back in and off the backboard, too. But both those shots are going to miss, unfortunately.
Yeah, earlier, if you saw that very close shot, that very close stop, one of the only people who doesn't come out of the goal to rush the striker is the Niles. So we keep calling him Denials because he racks him up. You keep coming at him, you try to come from reverse, try to come straight up his face by punching him or trying to put the disc right down the middle, and you cannot stop the guy. He's amazing read on the ball as a goalie.
After there, more so just trying to dodge getting knocked out here since he is kind of the one line of defense at the moment that Jax do have set up for themselves. Jax is now looking for another opportunity to score, though. Is Slin ready to receive this pass? He's got it. He's got to get past the goalie, though. He's waiting to goal, and nicely done right off the backboard. Denials didn't even know what hit him there as Slin scores again here now. for Jax, putting them into a solid position for the lead at 6-3.
That's literally the first backboard shot I've ever seen work on the Nile, so he must be a little bit out of his game, seeing he's been practicing as a striker almost this entire weekend. He's like, you know what, I gotta be the goalie anymore, I'm just gonna be the striker. And I was like, well, what about when you face off against Jax? He's like, nah, we've got this. And it looks like they're already starting to play conservatively. He's already started to pull back as the goalie, but now he has to remember how to block backboard shots to see if they actually stack up here. Let's watch this mini-map, see who gets there first. Y'all handedly beat. Looks like they decided to play more defensively, but Lone Gecko couldn't get it.
It's a very messy opener, however, so it does end up going right into Niall's hands. He's going to throw it back the other way. He throws it right into Aventera's hands, and thankfully we see that last second jump up coming in from Ding there to be able to secure and stop them from scoring again here. Still, though, they're wasting a lot of time. They have to score a three-pointer in this next 20 seconds or so, where they're going to lose out in this first round. And at the moment, they're not doing a good job of clearing it here. It's Niall's trying to defend, but Slyn gets right up into his face and slam dunks it once more. 8-3, and with only 17 seconds left, it's really just not going to be possible for Ding to come back in this first round.
Now they're just toying with them. That is just brutal. I mean, you see the stun disparity here. You have just slightly more stuns on Boop's team, Team Jax. But other than that, man, it's just not a lot of other things that they could be doing here. I'm not entirely sure how they deal with this other than trying to maintain composure. We've watched them play aggressively. We've watched them be very dangerous. But right here, it looks like they sort of pulled back conservatively and then kept missing shots that we know that they can make. And they say that, though. When they fall apart hard.
Here comes the launch, and it puts it very, very close to Ding's goal here right at the beginning of it. Slyn, though, is just not able to receive it properly as the disc is being thrown wildly around the arena here. Now Slyn can pick it up, but I don't think he got the memo here. Regardless, though, they've got a secure lead set up for themselves, and yeah, there you go. They're going to be able to secure round number 1 with a final scoreline of 8-3. It is going to be Jax that takes the lead in this first round of our best-of-3 series, and with one more, they will be claimed our European regional champions.
I wonder if they left all their energy out in the practices today, came in too early, came in with too much strength, too much energy, and ended up burning it all.
Look at just how dominant the statistics are for Jax. They have almost complete control over that stat board there.
They're an incredibly good team. They have the 2 best strikers in the league and the best midfielder in the league. I mean, Aventera is a great defender overall, except for directly in the goal. He can't block shots for anything. But because his offense and their defense are so good, you almost never get an opportunity to shoot at them.
We're going to rematch the teams now, get them all set up, and we'll jump into the second round immediately here, see if we can have Ding strike back at all, or they're just going to end up bowing down to Jax here and give them the series in a flat 2-0 fashion. We hope they can strike back. We definitely had some good moments coming out from Ding there, but seems like they're maybe running out of a little bit of energy towards the end of the first round, so hopefully they can kind of rejuvenate themselves, a little bit of a break in between, and get themselves ready to fight again here in just a couple of seconds.
I wonder if they're creating a new point for Echo Arena, that a great defense is an incredibly strong offense. We see Lemming's team does it as well, Eclipse. That's all they do is just don't have to defend if you're constantly attacking the goal.
Comes our first joust of the second round. The teams are going to be launched to back out. Niles goes for the quick first pickup here, but he's actually going to get punched out very quickly. Still maintain control of it, though, and they're going to get a nice clear over here into Jax's territory. Jax will start to fall back, but Lone Gecko also looking for a ride. You can see him trying to hightail it off of one of these players. He's going to miss that opportunity, though, and that will let Aventera quickly pick up the disc and send it back down to midfield. No one's ready to receive that pass on his team, though, so Lone Gecko and the others over here for Ding are just going to pick it right back up to Niles, and it's actually Quantum, that sinks it in from high up on top. Nice little 2-pointer, sets them up with the lead at the start of the round, and that's much better for Ding.
This is an interesting thing that I've actually heard from the European League. Now, we always say clear it down, either main center or down one of the tunnels is usually a good safe bet to get past the midfielder. But this time what they did was they went down and threw it down to the corner. And we often said a corner clear is bad, that's a panic. You put it in the corner, people got stuck down there. But I've heard the European players say that their midfielders are so good that you're actually much safer tossing it down in the corner than you are trying to get it down one of the tunnels. Because you're almost always going to be wrong in your decision.
Comes the second joust. Slyn's going to look to take charge, but someone headsbutts it very quickly over here into Jax's territory. So Ding once again will start off with an advantage. To Niles, tries to pick it up, and it looks like the goalie launches back out from Jackson. Quickly stops a goal from happening. Quantum trying to set up Lone Gecko again, and a nice block comes out from our blue team goalie here. Jax is able to stop an immediate attempt to score again early on in the volley. And now the Niles will move in once again, sets up his teammate. Can Quantum get it in this time? No, again, blocked by the defender, set up on Jax. They're doing a great job of stopping these goals.
Oh man, I'm surprised that Jax was actually able to stop the goals. Their goalie's actually quite terrible. This is one of the few goals he's actually had to get himself in front of. But it looks like they're at least going to recover it this time. Hopefully they can turn the momentum and get themselves at least one shot before this round is over.
Aventera trying to get a teammate a little bit further upfield, but he does have to eventually toss it away as he gets jumped on by one of the members of Ding. Now Jax will go for the goal. Niles is ready to stop it this time, though, but he ends up tossing it into a corner.
Let's just start calling them denials, because that was really good, that stop there. If they could keep them from scoring one more point, at least rack up this round.
Do it again.
Oh,
nicely done.
He does it
Catches
again.
it. Very well played from Denials. You just can't get past him at the moment. Both these teams have really good defense matrix set up. Neither one can seem to score here.
It's that backboard shot, I think, made him angry enough to get him focused. But he's come out of goal. He said this is something he never does whenever he's defending. And the goal is undefended if that's what's going to happen. A little bit defend. Well, Quantum Board decided to pull back, but they could have got it past him.
Oh, Quantum misses the tunnel again, ends up just bouncing it right onto one of the islands. Even worse, he's stunned out right now, so we cannot stop the members of Jax from getting closer and closer to his team's goal. However, this other player might be able to, gets right up in the face, and Quantum is finally going to be able to push himself forward, push himself into the air, more importantly, and away from those players on Jax, and finally attempt to clear it, but just as quickly as they got it away, Boop moves in and sends it right back into their territory here. Slin's gonna have to look to score on his own. They're going up against Denials. Can he finally get it past them? Yes, he can. Slin will score. Another two-pointer will tie us up once again here.
Slin actually did something different from what he normally does. Does an underhand pass, usually straight up front, tries to go between the legs on Niles, and it looks like that's where Niles was ready to block. Action beats reaction, especially in that close a distance. It's almost impossible to block somebody. That's generally what the answer is why I said you rush the striker, try to punch him in the face. His arms are long enough, he could have punched him in the face, but I think it was just in the moment, the game was too close, and he decided to accidentally give up that goal.
So let us jump into the next one here. The joust begins, and let's see. These jousts have actually been pretty important here, as it has oftentimes had some pretty long-lasting effects at the beginning of the initial volley. So we'll see if that'll happen again. And this time it is Jax that's going to be able to get it over here into Ding's territory. Ding is everybody back by the goal, though, so it's going to be pretty much impossible to score right now. Oh, a nice little interception comes in as Affenterre is able to stop that from being cleared, and it's left as an open goal. So Affenterre puts it right in the left corner and is going to be able to secure a nice little three-pointer there for Jax. They're up in the lead again, 5-2.
Affenterre, actually, it's really funny. They have the two top strikers on their team, but Affenterre actually has one of the best long shots on the team. And he normally doesn't do that. He tries to play midfield, protect their end of the arena from getting the disc. But if he plays up forward and decides to get a little bit more aggressive and you let him get the disc to an uncontested goal, he'll drop a three-shot at it.
All right, so we've got Jax in the lead again here. Remember, they also have the series lead currently, so if they're able to keep this scoreline or grow upon it even better, then they'll be able to win this entire regional tournament here, take home the first place prize along with an immediate qualification to the VRCL Grand Finals. They're going to look to secure another goal here really quickly, but the pass to Slin isn't that great. It should let our orange team set themselves up, but no! Slin slinks in over here on the backside, gets himself into a great position, and scores again for our players on Jax.
You know, it's funny, the top striker in the league, Boop, at this time around has racked up no points. He's decided to play back.
He's been really silent this whole series so far, to be honest. We haven't seen a whole lot of him compared to the semifinals, where he would really come alive and was a very crucial member of his team there.
It's like the sleeping dragon right now. It's like, I want to wait till y'all need me. It looks like he just got scraped off. There was Slin that got scraped off. I'm not sure what Boop's going for here. Maybe he's just leading the charge on the two points where he goes for the joust. Nope, taking it easy.
Bit of a slow launch that time from Jax. They might have messed it up a little bit there. So now Affenterre is going to set up immediately in goal to defend it. Nice little clear comes out from Boops, and that's going to help to keep them alive here. Make sure that our orange team, that players from Ding, are not going to be able to come back so quickly. Now Sled moving forward. He's going to look to pass this over to a teammate. Oh, it's thrown way too far back, though, so that's a missed pass. Slin's going to have to look to reposition and now intercept it, since Lone Gecko will pick up the disc here. He's looking for his own opportunity to clear, but he wants to make sure that a teammate can pick it up, and that's exactly what he'll do. Great passes, really. It puts it right next to the Jax player, to the Jax team's goal. However, they don't have anyone really forward on the field here. Affenterre is going to get knocked out, but the disc still remains in Jax's control, or at the very least, they're doing a great job of keeping it away from Ding. That's going to change now, however. Lone Gecko will move in. He'll look for a good security attempt to try and secure a goal, but he doesn't get it. He gets knocked out before he can even attempt it.
It's like 5 punches to make that happen. Swing which way, he's got an opportunity. Oh, around the backside. Can you believe that?
Nicely done from Lone Gecko. That great form again. We were seeing Infinity use that back in the third place match. Swings it from his right hand around his back to his left hand, and then puts it right past the goalie inside of the goal.
When I first started seeing people do that move, I thought it was a flourish, and then realized how effective it was and how difficult it is to block.
Especially if a player doesn't have a really good wingspan, that matters a bit. If their arms aren't going to be long enough to be able to reach out and try to grab that other arm, then it's going to be really easy to try and trick the goalie and score that way, it seems.
I think that's one of the reasons why you see a lot of goalies who are incredibly tall, because they see that move, they reach out with both hands.
Yeah.
If you're left or right, I'm coming for it.
They're that much bigger wingspan, so they're able to block their shots a little bit more easily than a shorter player. Affenterre, though, he does get the initial pickup, but he's not going to be able to send this very far back to his teammate. Boop will have to float back a little bit there to be able to pick it up. And unfortunately, he's going up against pretty much the entire enemy team. They got to be tricky here if they want to score under these circumstances. And yeah, you can just see how difficult this is right now. Gecko picks it back up, sends it over towards midfield. They don't clear it, though. Everyone else from Jax is going to pick it up again. And remember the timer here with him just scoring again. There's only a few seconds left here for the players on Ding to strike back and really get into this match. Nice block off the backboard there coming out from the orange team goalie. Ding keeps it alive. They keep it close at least, but they need to get this out of here. And no!
He spun around. He did a free spin and actually dunked it in.
Slyn just cannot be stopped if he gets close enough to that goal. Continues to dunk it time after time after time again. And now with the scoreline being out of just 1 goal's reach here for the members of Ding, they might not be able to bring it back. We'll see if they can set something up very quickly after their launch. But if they don't get this goal within the first couple seconds of this next volley, it might all be over for them.
We're seeing completely different play from what we saw from Ding earlier, just the members of their team during our exhibition match, and then earlier today, how well they were playing.
Let's see, it could be our final volley right here. Jax gets a great first headbutt here, and it's going to send it over into Ding's territory. That's not what Ding needs. They need to score this very, very quickly, and more importantly, they need to make sure this is a three-pointer here so that they can at least try to come back with 1 more goal scored. They're taking so much time there. More importantly, Jax is doing a great job of running interference. They're making this as difficult as possible. They pulled all their goalies. Slyn's going to miss that. It doesn't matter, though. He's wasting time, and that's all that matters for Jax at this point. They're 7 seconds away from being the European Regional Champions, and they know it here. 5 seconds left. It's not going to happen for the players on Ding, ladies and gentlemen. So that means that Jax are going to be your European Regional Champions. They'll take it 2-0. Congratulations to them.
Game over, pure brutality coming from our boys on the Jax. We knew they would win. We were pretty sure they would, although they were talking about skill caps closing. And we also heard from Ding, they are the ones that told me this personally, that when they fall apart, they do fall apart hard. It wasn't too bad here. They had trouble maintaining composure. They have a great defensive play, great offensive plays, but here, they were able to they could not get a handle on what was happening.
Once again, I think the energy factor really played in here, especially for Ding. In the first round, both these teams were having really good defensive setups. There was great communication going on, great passes from both teams, but unfortunately, it seems like they lost a lot of that steam as we got more into kind of the second and third rounds here, and that's where it seemed the longevity from Jax in terms of their energy output seemed to come in a little bit more. They kept themselves more consistent, and as such, they were able to win.
Well, the energy issues that people are having, you'd think that you'd actually start having teams starting to min-max a little bit with energy drinks, trying to figure out exactly which one they got to do in order to keep that energy level up. So we'll have to see what happens, but we do have a winner that we have crowned, right? That would be Jax.
Yeah, I believe so. So, I look a little bit confused here.
Oh, they're little attaboys.
As we see.
And Avatar giving out big hugs.
And we can see them coming around there to give congratulations. And of course, once again, congratulations to Jax as they do end up coming on the top. Didn't really look like they realized it at first when they won that third round there, but they are indeed going to be our European Regional Champions, which means they can take on the lion's share of the prize pool, $11,000 to be split between the 3 of them, along with immediate qualification to the 2018 VRCL Grand Finals.
Yeah, and you know, we saw that they became in really strong. Whenever since they formed that team, they actually grabbed 3 of the strongest players in the league, the European League, and everyone was like, well, that's not fair. You're going to win everything. And people started closing in on them, and there was a lot of questions, but it looks like since the beginning, since they formed, since VR Challenger first even allowed them to form teams, that people were right. They were going to end up taking home the win for the regionals. However, it wasn't really strong play that I saw. During the practice matches, we saw a lot stronger play. Some of the matches that we've reviewed over the online stuff, they were a lot stronger. And you hear a lot of like rumblings from the North American leagues where they're just like, nah, European leagues cannot hold a candle to us. And there's sometimes you see that, and sometimes you're like, well, no, they're really tough. So we're going to have to see here. I don't know. I kind of feel like sometimes they were sandbagging a little bit because the North American teams gave up too many secrets during the North American regionals, and I think what it was is that Jax was holding back just a little bit. It felt like they were holding back, don't you think?
Yeah,
like, you know, we're not going to give away our secrets. We're not making the same mistake you guys did.
Well, that's ultimately going to become the big question now, is whether North America is going to be the dominant region or Europe is going to become the dominant region. And, well, the only way to find out about that is if you're going to be able to tune into the VRCL Grand Finals, which, like I said before, is going to be coming up in 2018. So be sure to stay tuned for more details on when exactly that is going to be happening. But we have our first 2 teams decided on who's going to be going there. We found our North American regionalist finalist a few weeks ago at Oculus Connect 4, and today here we've claimed our European region finalist, and that, once again, as you just saw there, is going to be Jax that get to move on into the 2018 Grand Finals.
I think Jax and Eclipse are definitely on a course for collision. We'll have to see what happens between the 2 of them. However, it is a long ways off. This game has not been out very long. It is actually still free until November 20th, if I remember correctly, as it's being sponsored by Intel to allow people to have it free up until that time. So there's still a lot more people that can get into this, still a lot more points that can be had, and still positions that will be available for you to get into the World Finals. We may not even see some of these teams be able to put up a fight when it comes down. There's so much time between here and now. And then it's actually a worry I hear from the top teams. They're like, we're really good now, but that's only because there's not a lot of competition. A lot of people don't even know that this is something you can do.
Well, guys, that is going to do it for myself here, but we're not done just yet. Poonanders is going to be interviewing one of the winners here in just a couple of seconds, so stick with us and we'll be right back.
When you commit to a path, I guess you were on your own. Follow your dreams to a place, a space, the grace that takes you home. But let me tell you, I'm ready to fly. Now it's time to go home.
Again, it's me, Poonanders, and I'm here with Slyn from Team Jax. Slyn, amazing plays this time. There was a few close shots that you missed, but you seem to start picking up steam. What was going on in your heads during that game?
Yeah, we were really nervous at first, especially me. I was screaming a lot, and yeah, but in the end, we scored the first goal, I think, in the second game. No, in the first game. That helped a lot. So
you're so quiet. We wouldn't imagine that you're a screaming type of guy, although I do hear it gets really loud on your team.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm actually the loudest sometimes, because I just kind of panic then, and then I'm starting to play badly, and then I just have to come down a bit.
Y'all seem to really get into the zone, though, especially for the second round. It looked like y'all just decided to start playing with them. Were y'all sandbagging a little bit, running the clock down? What was going on there?
I think Gecko stepped on his cable of the headset, so it unplugged, and then he was gone, so we were a bit confused.
But then he came right back?
He came right back, so we could keep going.
Oh, okay.
I worked out, yeah.
Yeah, well, it seemed like y'all still continue to pass a little bit, though. Like I like a little strategic running the clock down. I've noticed that from the joust, y'all were winning consistently. Were y'all doing 4 or 5-man launches? What were y'all pulling off for that one?
Mostly it's just a 3-man launch, but usually Terror manages to grab me again and then just goes for the disc.
Okay, so you're able to pull a little bit of 4-man off whenever,
yeah, so
if Affen's able to get his hands on it.
Yeah, exactly. So it kind of depends how it goes. Most of the time it actually works. But actually our 3-man launch is usually fast enough.
Yeah, well, notice that Affenterror actually was able to even pull up a shot in this game, and I mentioned that before. He's an excellent shot when he gets a chance to be that aggressive. I did notice they were able to sneak the disc past him, which is something that's very difficult to do, and I know that y'all have had very close games with Ding in the past, but did this feel like what was normal for Ding between y'all in matches?
I think they tried harder, and so did we, but we all were really nervous, so we made more mistakes in general.
Okay, so it's a little bit different, but a little more the same. Because I've seen matches that seem to like a lot faster pace, a lot closer. I know that when you're in the headset in that game, it seems like it's all happening like this. But from our perspective, there was a couple times where it seemed like y'all were just slowing down. And I was like, are y'all getting tired? Do y'all feel like y'all played too much today? Did you have enough water? Like, what do you think was going on with them?
I don't really know. I think it was mostly just nerves, actually.
Yes, it's a very stressful situation. Money on the line, but y'all took home the
Yeah.
package. You got the trophy, the $11,000 prize package between the three of you on your team. So y'all excited about going to the World Finals?
Yeah, that's gonna be great.
Yes, yes. Well, we can't wait to see you there. But my question is, what next? Are there any teams in the American League that you think you'll see at the finals that you're worried about?
So we played some in the past, but it's been a while ago, and the lag doesn't really help. At that point, we were able to crush most of them, actually. I think we lost one game against them, but that was in the first few weeks, so I mean, of the cup. So that probably changed by now a lot. But then we got also better. So the team I'm most worried about is Eclipse.
Yes, yes,
obviously.
definitely. Well, one of the things I mentioned to you guys you have to work on, we see Eclipse, especially Lemming, do this a lot, is vertical juking. So I'd like to see that more from your team and more from the other teams. You don't see a lot of up and down. Lately, I've only noticed that Affinity does it just a little bit when she remembers. So that is definitely a big part of the meta now, and it's starting to roll all the way through the American leagues. So people are definitely going to start developing like larger thighs as they continue to squat and jump in the game.
I kind of tried it a bit in the training matches today, but like...
You have to do it from day one. It's very hard. You have to do it constantly.
The problem is at home I can't jump, so it's just squatting, which I just do sometimes to duck someone who's trying to punch me, but not often enough, I suppose. I can still improve that.
All right. Well, you know, that sounds good. I know that we can't wait to see y'all again when it comes around for the World Finals. And again, we're going to tune in next time in the weekend of November 18th, I believe it is, for the Unspoken Tournament. That's the next stop on the VRCL Challenger League Series that will happen in Oakland, California, for the North American Regionals. And so tune into that one, and then following that one, we're actually end up going off to DreamHack in Sweden for the European Regionals. So I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and watching us today. Hopefully we'll see more from you guys, and hopefully we'll see more from the other teams to actually bring stronger. Y'all get your training on and actually bring us a better show for the World Tournament. So let's like to thank everybody at ESL for putting this together with Oculus and Intel, and for all the teams for coming in and putting on a good show for us. We'll see you guys next time. Remember, say goodbye to the same. Get your head in the game.